everybody. It's the Audio Mullet Show. I'm Doug Tenaple, and I'm here with my buddy Ethan Nicole, and once again, no Mike Nelson.
I was going to do my best Mike Nelson impression, like, "Hey guys, it's me, Mike."
Let me hear. He's like an unimitable guy.
Hey.
Okay, let me try. Okay. Oh, it's the dulcet tones of Mike. I can't even do it. I'm terrible at imitation.
What are you doing, Doug? What are you doing?
Oh, that's good. You've probably got a little more Mike in you than me. I haven't accepted Mike into my heart yet as my Lord.
I was just thinking that this morning because I was thinking about Mike and the girl that I thought I was going to marry. We used to meet on Saturday mornings and watch Mystery Science Theater together. So that was to me a sign that she was my dream girl. That this was gonna happen definitely.
And I would take that as a sign that it was ruinous. It was destined to fail. You dodged a bullet on that one.
It was the best. But then, so yeah, I imagine myself like time traveling back and like going, "Hey, one of these people is going to be at your wedding, and it's not her. It's that guy, Mike Nelson."
It's that guy that you were listening to. Little did you know you'd be buddies with him. Yeah. See?
It's weird.
So has he talked to us this week? I saw him on the email thread. Like he's booked, right?
Yeah, he's just like, swamped? He's like, "How do you guys have so much time for all this stuff?" Like,
he's the one who does like 8 podcasts.
Yeah. So just not this one.
How do you have time for this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, we just prioritize our friends.
Right.
Well, everyone say a prayer for Mike. He's busy. Pray him back on the show.
He's going to be on his deathbed and be like, "Why didn't I riff Ant-Man from Mars? And why didn't I riff the Swamp Hounds from Kentucky?
Swamp Hounds from Trollland." And,
so many other
I'm so glad I didn't. So glad I didn't spend time with my best friends. So glad I didn't spend time. That's one thing he'll say on his deathbed. He could have been on this show.
He'll be telling his son to riff. "Go riff this one for me, son."
Yeah. What if we paid him to riff this episode? We need to just get him to do riff tracks on Audio Mullet.
Yeah, we got to do a fundraiser. We got to buy him.
Yeah, that's it. Fundraiser never sounds fun.
I know. Car washes.
So awful. Yeah. My
that was
kids
the worst
keep
part
coming
of ministry.
home with all these things they have to do to raise money for their little trips and all their soccer team and stuff. I'm like, look, I'll just pay the money. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll just pay money.
Yeah.
Don't make my kid go sell candy bars and,
like
and
door
cookie dough.
And I got these catalogs of like the stupidest things.
Yeah. And the only people that they end up selling it to, the cookie dough to, is us. So we buy 2 tubs of cookie dough. And I'm like, I'll just pay.
Yeah. Yeah. We get this catalog that has all these, like nothing useful in it. It has like a thing that like you mash your hamburger. Like the most useful thing I could find was you put a hamburger inside this little masher and it can mash fillings into it or something. But it's stupid because you can just do that with your hands. Mm-hmm. Or we got this thing that you can cover up your food in your microwave with. And it's like,
yeah, and then they're trying to minimize their liability. There's a big giant thing in the cookie dough sales thing saying, "Do not go to homes of strangers."
Yeah.
I'm going, so you can't even go door to door and like make money off people you don't know. You have to go and beg money from people you do know.
Yeah, just your relatives.
Just your relatives and people at church and whatever. It's, what a scam.
I totally used to go door to door. When I was in high school, we would go door to door asking for, telling people we were on a can drive or raising money for camp to get cans. And we ended up going, we'd get like fill the whole back of my van with cans and cash them in because we just wanted money for food and like pops and.
Oh, so you said you were going to camp?
Yeah, we were completely lying. Yeah, we just wanted money. We were like skipping class and we just wanted money for to go to Taco Bell.
What a awesome. That's just a normal grift in Coos Bay, Oregon. Normal grift. That's great. So you're smoking a handsome pipe there. What tobacco are we running through it?
I believe this is probably
Q1 or something.
Dave's Blend. It's the blend that my local shop does. and I like it.
So it's a non-aromatic, non-flavored,
Slightly aromatic. Has to be like a
vanilla or something.
yellow vanilla, like or the Cavendish kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
Sounds
but
better
Cavendish
to say.
isn't.
It sounds better to say Cavendish than vanilla.
Isn't Cavendish an actual thing and not just like flavor sprayed on tobacco?
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
But that's what vanilla is. Vanilla is usually like they spray it with vanilla flavor.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like they like soaked it in something, but who knows?
Yeah, that's why I'm against the aromatics. I'm against the flavored tobaccos because they don't taste like when you smoke them. I mean, if you smoked it, if you burned it and it tasted like cherry, that'd be something.
Yeah.
But it's not. You burn it and it tastes like chemical.
Burning chemicals, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how's it going? What are you working on? What are you doing? I saw Brave Ollie Possum made it in World Magazine. The Beloved Miss Tenaple gets World Magazine.
Oh wow.
Olasky's thing.
I didn't know what that was, but I thought it was cool it was in there.
Oh, it's a huge magazine for conservative, like homeschool people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know the publisher that put
deal.
It out is big with homeschoolers.
Yeah, it's Marv Olasky. Like he's the man.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
He's a big deal.
Okay.
He's a really smart guy. Huh. Yeah, really smart. Really good guy. Yep.
Yeah. I spent most of Christmas time selling those, just packing and selling those. And then that pretty much ended as soon as Christmas was over. Everybody stopped buying stuff, which is normal.
Yeah, tax season.
Yeah.
People are seeing how much they have to pay the government, which is theft.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to spend money now. So, I mean, I've been, besides the Babylon Bee, which is really eating up a lot of time now.
Yeah, you're full on in that.
Yeah, we're busy. I'm making a book with them, a massive book. So that's taking a lot of time, but it's going to be cool. But
the Babylon Beast.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be called.
I've been working on kind of it's been slow going. I have I remember my friend Trevor Cooley, who we met. He came to your house that one night.
Oh, yeah.
He's a self-made man on Amazon Publishing. He publishes fantasy novels. We've been working on a story together for a while now, because I don't know when that was that we came over there, but we had already been working on it at that point. We basically spent like the last year and a half or so just meeting once a week and kind of just mulling over this whole story. It's actually like a series idea. So I've been working on that with him for a while, and we're really trying to figure out the first chapter, but it's going to be an illustrated novel that I hope at some point to get done, but it's definitely one of the more complicated things I've tried to write, more epic. It's in the realm of like what I would call like my Narnia. It's big, so.
Yeah.
But I've been working on art for it and
You're
stuff.
feeling the need. Why illustrate it? I know that sounds terrible because you're an artist, but I'm just kind of, I was watching Return of the King the other night and just swaying in the breeze and marveling at that movie. And of course, I've read Tolkien's work. I'm just thinking how did Tolkien do that?
He did do some illustrations, though, didn't he?
Very little though. Like he'll draw a tree.
I wouldn't
or
do like Brave Ollie Possum. I did a lot of illustrations. I'm not going to do that many. I more like want to do like each chapter. I want to do one page illustration kind of. This is what I'm
like
thinking.
Harry Potter does.
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
It's like this. I just think writing is the way to go. If you can write, a frog, if a frog could fly, wouldn't bump his ass a hopping, as they say in Raising Arizona. And Hudsucker Proxy, they recall that line. But I just think if you can write, why would you draw? It's like, dude, the human imagination is a better illustrator than I'll ever be.
Yeah, it's true.
Just get them to see it. And all the time goes into drawing.
Yeah.
It's like, just write.
Yeah, I agree.
Just little symbols for every chapter, like a little spot illo.
Yeah, a little spot illustration for each one.
That'll work.
Yeah, I think, it depends. This book it's a little unique in subject matter. I think that the art will be a bit of a character. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah, don't talk about your writing right.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk about it. Do it. That's kind of a better rule. What about politics? I know that you're following the day-to-day politics. You hang on every word of the comings and goings of Washington and senators and congressmen and who we're supposed to be outraged at today and the election this year.
Uh-huh.
Any thoughts?
My main job is to try to find what's funny about it.
Yeah.
So I never really...
But what do you have to look for to do a Babylon Bee article? Don't you have to go into all the political garbage, like wade into it to find out what the last thing Nancy Pelosi said yesterday? Yeah,
but Kyle kind of does the hard work on that. He's so much quicker than I am to like, he's, I don't know how he keeps abreast of it all. But, so he fills me in. But he usually just tells me what the ridiculous stuff is. Like, I guess Nancy Pelosi at this somber impeachment ceremony, like, handed out custom pens that she made.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, that was outrage of the week last week. So you have to do a Babylon, you have to write a Babylon Bee thing to that. To like
Kyle already got it. It's really ridiculous. She handed out replicas of her dentures. that she had in when the impeachment was signed.
It's Aunt Nancy. She's like Aunt Nancy. She's America's aunt. America's crazy Aunt Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think she's kind of cute. My thing is, I only judge people on their looks. Like I'll look at a politician, and I'm always like, how cute are they?
Yeah.
Like AOC, I think is really cute. Mm-hmm. So I just look at her and I see all this, this vomit coming out of her mouth of just insane, dumb stuff comes out of her head. And then I just go, oh, she's cute.
That's like an easier to digest Bernie Sanders.
She's a good looking girl. Bernie Sanders, he is one of my favorite characters.
He is hilarious.
Like I watched some of the debates, which was awful.
I didn't watch any of that.
Some of the Democrat debates. And Bernie Sanders is probably the coolest character on that stage.
Yeah.
The other ones really felt so slimy and so just evasive that I just went, this guy's got something. I would never vote for him, obviously, because of his politics. But I'm just saying there's a core to that guy. Yeah. Like he's a true believer. And you look at
he does
Biden,
come off as more genuine than all the rest of them.
I don't think Biden believes anything falling out of his mouth. Same with Warren. I'm just going, Warren doesn't believe one thing that's pouring out of that woman's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks desperate. Yeah.
Did you see her come up to Bernie after the debates too? And she's like, did you just say I was a liar on national television? That's how I felt every time that's like human resources coming to visit you.
Did she think
she was HR? That was an HR visit to Bernie.
Yeah, and I wonder if she thought that because she knew she was on national television right there. Like she must have thought that would make her look good. Like that'd be a good move.
They're not mic savvy.
That make her look tough on national TV.
And the millionaire guy goes crawling up to Bernie. I just wanted to do it a Flanders. And he's like, Mr. Burns, it's Mr. Burns. Who's the guy that
Smithers?
That's the side. Yeah, Smithers. He's like, I just wanted to say hi. This guy's like the most powerful billionaire in the world. And he's crawling up to Bernie going, I just want to say hi. And Bernie's like, okay, yeah, nice. And he walks away.
I missed that part.
Yeah, it was good. Bernie just blew him up. I got to go. I kind of dig that guy's character. Mm-hmm. Other than he's evil, I like that guy.
Did you hear the stuff that came out from Bernie's campaign guy that was like going off about? There's like hidden video about the gulags and Stalin wasn't so bad.
Yeah. But that's just some guy with his, I don't know, ear gauges. He was wearing a hat, but I can already tell if he took the hat off, he'd have ear gauges. Yeah. But that just seems like a rando who's barely associated with the campaign.
No, he was high up in the campaign, wasn't he?
But is he like president of Bernie, the Bernie company?
I don't know.
He looked like a homeless guy.
I'm sure a lot of them do. We got time to do that all day, going to campaign rallies and stuff?
Yeah, or a barista or something. And everyone's like, look at this guy, the head of Bernie Incorporated, said he's going to kill everyone or he's going to blow up a city if he's not there.
We dragging people out by the hair. Yeah, he's like, yeah, what the CIA says about the gulags, they got a living wage. He's talking about the gulags are great. Oh, man.
And it's obvious all of those candidates are going to crash America into ground. Like, they hate America. They hate you. They hate me. Mm-hmm. They will destroy us. But there's like half of America goes, I know these people will destroy us, but I just hate Trump that much that I got to vote. 50% of us are going to go for those guys. They're like, I just hate, because no one's going like Biden. Everything he stands for is what I'm about.
Yeah.
So it's not policy anymore. It's just, I hate Trump.
Yeah, most of the left-wing people that I follow seem to pretty much hate them all except for Bernie.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll see somebody who likes Elizabeth Warren, which I'm really confused by.
But if you're a true believer socialist, and this is true of my friends that are true believers, they're not voting for Bernie out of Trump hatred. They're voting for Bernie because they just hate capitalism and hate freedom. they forget Trump.
Yeah.
Like, I was hating freedom and capitalism long before Trump came on the scene. Yeah, we're screwed. Tell me about the state, about a Christian, you're a Christian, operating within the government, within we're in a democratic republic,
Yeah.
We vote.
Yeah.
And is it a moral system? This is my big question is it just made up by the Enlightenment and an arbitrary form of government? Or is the Constitution, is it biblically informed? And is it the structure of it higher than just a bunch of Enlightenment guys guessing, going, this is the best we could do? Is it a secular state, or does God own it?
Well, it's good that I'm highly qualified to answer this question. I'm glad you're having me on.
I know your political theory, both of us being basically artists. So, with you, but I'm asking you as a moral man, because I know the scriptures better than most. So I'm just saying scripturally, like, for instance, isn't it your sense that family is a structure ordained by God?
Yes.
Like, you have a wife, you have kids, you're supposed to do that. You can't have 2 wives, 4 wives. You can't marry the couch. You can't abandon your kids, right? Mm-hmm. That's a God structure, is mandated by your family. So family is one thing that is an authority system that we fall under. And then government is another. Mm-hmm. Is it a God ordained system, or could you have a king and just be like, we're in England, we're Christians, and we have a king. We have a throne, and that's our one form of government, but it's not ordained by God.
Yeah, I don't know about it being ordained by God. I know he used a lot of kings in the Bible. I don't really have an answer
like, does
for that.
God look at communist China and just shrug and go, communist China, democratic republic, tomato.
I do think he is. I know that's what he said to Adam in the garden, that you were going to be the manager of this earth I've given you. You're the manager of it. You're the steward. And he lets us figure it out. Like,
and he says, I'm going to start a communist empire. Yeah. And God goes, go crazy, man. Yeah. That's one form. That's one thing you could do.
And I do believe that history is full of those things. Like, that's, as you look back on all the different, even throughout, the Old Testament, and the God created the world, and it's like he gave us an example of if he had created a world without the Bible first, and said, see, everything goes to crap, and I have to flood it and start over.
Yeah.
So then
everyone's murdering each other. They're sacrificing their children.
It's pretty bad.
I'm going to wipe them out, including their children.
Yeah. So we get these examples throughout history of like, what if everybody just shared all the money and we were just like a community? And then now we have Russia to look back on.
Yeah, they're going, look, Jesus was a socialist. Yeah. He said, share your stuff with each other, and they go, oh, so we'll have the government make everyone share their stuff with each other. The means of production will be equally we will redistribute wealth according to morality by a government.
Well, yeah, they don't mention in the scripture that as Jesus was giving his commands, he was holding guns to everybody's head. He was walking around aiming at everybody like Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction.
That's right. Sideways gun.
Yeah, the sideways gun.
That's John Woo, actually. The sideways gun is John Woo, I think. Probably not Quentin. Or, that's what I always wonder is like how, because guys like Larry Arnn, there's from Hillsdale College, really smart guys. Mm-hmm. Like he says, like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, it's practically a divine document. I mean, the way I've actually heard him use those words, like not those exact words, but like it is. He was mentioning that he thought it was divine. Something about it, and I'm just looking at it, going, okay, so this is a document that legally can't make a moral stand against pornography because of its claims to freedom. That you have freedom to do what you want, and it will secure your right to hold a gun. Like it's crazy about guns, which I'm all for. I like my guns, but it's like, hey, if the government takes a stand against your guns, you can use your guns against the government. But if you want to make porn and have choke porn, then the government can't say anything about that. The government will limit people who try to stop others' freedom of expression on porn. The government has to take out a gun and hold it to the head of the guy who's trying to stop someone else from doing porn, because freedom. That's my big question on the fallout of the Enlightenment is freedom such a great thing that you're going to give freedom to pornographers so that they can spread their stuff all over the market, all over the public? And you just say, hey, parents, be a better parent and stop your kids from looking at it, but let everyone else have the freedom to do choke porn. That was the vision of the founders, was choke porn. The ability, freedom to do choke porn is why we died over a taxing tea.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I would happily vote porn down, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing is I guess it's a matter of perspective. I mean, people think porn is harmless, and I completely disagree. Especially the porn industry itself. Just, so I don't know, but I don't even know if the founding fathers, if you were to like go to them and be like, hey, here's the future, and here's some choke porn, and it's justified under this Constitution you guys created. I wonder if they would agree.
Dying for.
Like, whoa, what is that flashy light box?
Yeah, they'd look at the TV and go, it's a guy.
How'd those people get in that thing?
It captured my soul. They captured my soul on video. Yeah, but this is why I kind of throw my hands in the air and say, F everyone and F everything. I don't care. Don't give me this morality of screaming about them taking your guns. Shut up about your guns.
Okay.
because people are getting destroyed by choke porn and legalization of drugs, methamphetamines and all these things that are just, wiping out people, basically killing them with their own freedom because they're free to take a drug or not take a drug.
Is meth legal now?
And kind of, I'm talking about most libertarians that want to legalize all forms of drug, including heroin. Those aren't weirdo people. Those are mainstream, big, big voices in conservatism saying limited government, and the government needs to be so limited that you can't make this stuff illegal. If you want to ingest it, ingest it. You want to kill yourself, kill yourself.
Yeah.
You want to make choke porn? Make choke porn. It's about limiting the government so that it can't step out because the fear is it's going to do something really immoral, like take away your bump stock. We got to go to war over bump stocks.
Is it really like one or the other, though? Sometimes I feel like you create dichotomies.
Well, I didn't create it. This is what I see happening today. I mean, you'll admit that the pro-gun people are crazy about giving up a bump stock.
Yeah.
Like that's how you animate them. And then they look at choke porn and they shrug and say, freedom.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's probably a
But I'm saying which one does more damage? Bump stocks? Which one is more on the day-to-day of our culture and our society? Which has a bigger impact? The right to bear arms or the right to make choke porn? I think choke porn is far more invasive and broad than the pistol I keep, in the nightstand that basically gathers dust for about 30 years.
You might actually be able to start a good movement against choke porn, but if you took the choke off, you'd have a tougher time, I think.
Yeah, if I was like real tasteful, beautiful porn, like the really cute girls, the really cute women who are hot. Yeah, normal porn, you mean?
This is what happens when we had no plan of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it gets awesome. It's actually okay. Go to the email. We have an email guy.
Yeah,
right?
We got an email. We have an email from
I'm not gonna say his name.
It's weird because there's lines in here. It goes all over the place, but he's kind of a fan, but not. But he's a fan.
I like him as a fan.
He's just.
I just don't want
to.
Yeah, I just don't want to rail on him too much if we give his name. So I want to be able to.
Yeah, I won't give his name just in case. I don't want people to. It's not that bad.
But he's a fan. He's a fan. He's welcome. We like that he's providing content
this
for
email.
the show to rescue us from talking about the Constitution. Terrific.
All right, I'll read it. Gentlemen, I have some random thoughts. Topic ideas. Okay. How to be less indecisive. Proper usage or not of emojis.
Wait. Go back to how to be less decisive.
How to be less indecisive.
Less indecisive.
So how to be decisive.
Yeah.
That's more you.
Yeah. Are you indecisive, do you think?
I can't really decide.
Like, do you have a hard time making a binary? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you're just like instant binary. You're like right on the black, white.
Yeah, I know what I want. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. Pretty quickly.
Like I've heard you get in like hardcore black and white arguments about completely trivial things.
Like
one I remember the most, you like went off on this like argument with these guys about cutscenes in video games.
Yeah, cutscenes in video games, binary. No.
Binary. There can never be a good game with a cutscene ever.
It is. But that's because I've run it. But I know what I'm talking. I ran a video game company. It is cutscenes are a waste of resources.
I do genuinely agree with that, though.
It's a waste of resources. So if you have $100 million, let's say, to do a video game, what percentage do you devote to cutscenes?
If it's any indication of the newer games that are being made, like 80%.
Yeah.
I've only played a couple.
It should be.
I'm always amazed how many there are. Like, dude, why is this thing 90% movie? Bad movie.
There should be a universal law of no more than 10% of any budget given to cutscenes.
Okay, so some cutscenes.
I'm pretty binary.
Because your games had cutscenes.
They did.
They just had great little claymation ones.
Yeah, but it was to tip a hat to, and if you're going to do a cutscene, do it in claymation because then it's worth making. If you're going to do a normal, just like bad CG with kind of floaty people just talking, they're awful.
Yeah.
Guys doing expository dialogue, trying to put some kind of a context to a game level.
Yeah.
Go watch a movie. That's what a movie is for. That's what cinema is for, is to see a great story. Have you seen 1917 yet?
Yeah, I did. It's good.
I mean, just that movie's existence alone should remove the need to do cutscenes in any video game ever. Because that's what cinema is supposed to look like. Not the garbage of two people talking, going like, we really need to get this tractor over to the aircraft carrier or the world's going to end. Yes, get on your mission. Yes, that's about all the drama and depth you get from video game cutscenes.
Yeah, my brother bought me Red Dead Redemption 2 for Christmas.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's
one
good.
of the only games I'm like into, and man, it's amazing. But it does have a lot of cutscenes.
I got to get that game.
But just visually, it's just it continually blows my mind as I play. Like, I guess the game took like 8 years to make. It's insane.
Yeah,
there's like over 500 species of animal in it. It's nuts.
Yeah, I worked with the guys who made that game.
Oh yeah,
back at American Film Technology. My first animation job, it was Darren Bader and George Davis, a bunch of guys that they actually did the Red Dead 1 and kind of set that up. And then the lady, there's a lady voice actor that I met with out here who's a Christian in Tennessee who did voice one of the lady voices, the big star in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I guess Rockstar Games is like the biggest employer of actors in Washington. Like I think that's where they are.
Yeah.
But all the motion capture and their script is like 2,000 pages or something like that.
Oh, brother.
Insane. But I mean, you can walk around and just talk to people at random in the games. The detail's insane. Anyway, this guy would complain about us talking about this, which I kind of agree with. Is not very mullety to talk about contemporary video games.
Okay. And didn't he say something about Star Wars?
Yeah, we're gonna almost there. One? But he asked about being indecisive. Yeah. Do we have an answer on that, or
pick a lane?
How to be decisive? Pick a lane.
How to be decisive? I guess to me, if you're indecisive, there's nothing wrong with that. If that makes you happy, then be indecisive and just float through life, going, I have no opinion on Burger King versus McDonald's, or you see a Trump walk in a room and you see a Bernie Sanders and you just kind of shrug. It's all the same to me.
I do think it's good when I try to be more decisive. I notice that, especially if my family's looking to me to be decisive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, make a decision. Yeah. Leadership.
Do it. Just pick something.
Take responsibility. But is there a fear of failure, do you think, with indecisive people? Like, I can't pick this, I can't do that.
You're making yourself accountable to that choice, like picking a movie for the family to watch.
Yeah.
That's pressure. Because if the whole night sucks, then it was all your fault.
Yeah. So to me, if I see like why pitch this show versus that show, or why take on a video game job versus a comic book job, or why turn down this to do that,
normal choices regular people have to make every day. Yeah,
it's a leadership responsibility thing, and it's I think a lot of it comes from a fear of failure, and I do have a fear of failure. But if I fail, I want it to be because I chose something, not because it was thrust upon me. Mm-hmm. Like I'd rather have failure happen by my own hand than passively be a victim of someone else's decision. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
And that's why if the family says, are we going to go to McDonald's or Burger King? I'll weigh in with an opinion. They don't have to do it, but I'll go, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty quick answer.
Yeah.
And then if we go and the McDonald's experience is really bad, I'll take responsibility. Yeah, that was me. Sorry, guys. That was just garbage. And I'm sure Burger King would have been a lot better.
I guess that's the question. You have to be like, are you being indecisive because it's not a big, I don't know, because there's options? Or are you being indecisive because you don't want to be held accountable for, you just want to always be the guy that walks in back. Like that's one thing tendency I have is like if a group of us are walking, I'll walk towards the back because I'd rather someone else make all the decisions because I'm afraid to be the guy deciding things.
Well, yeah. Or you don't think or believe anything. Yeah. Like how apathetic that here we are in a democracy, and they ask you, they're consulting with you to decide who to lead you. And you're like, I haven't voted in 6 elections and I don't care. Yeah. I guess. I mean, it's so rare that you have the freedom to make a choice. Why not make a choice? That doesn't make your choices right. Like being binary and being opinionated and being decisive doesn't mean you're going to pick the right thing. But like I said, if I do something wrong, I want it to be because I decided it, not because someone else threw it on me. And then I get to pretend to be a victim and say, hey, I was just sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a nothing.
Yeah.
So don't come after me. Well, you'll get ground up just as much as the guy that weighed in and chose wrong. It's all hamburger. Okay, next.
Right, okay.
See, I'm being decisive.
Proper usage of
next topic.
Emojis or not?
Wait, what?
Talk about emojis.
He said, what about emojis?
Proper usage or not of emojis. Do you use emojis, Doug, when you text?
So wait, this is a guy that doesn't want us to talk about non-mullety stuff.
Let's just get to that because it's funny that he brought that up. And he also says book recommendations, things you have read, not things you are selling. Okay? We all know you have another Earthworm Jim Kickstarter going on, Doug.
Always, yeah.
Earthworm Jim on Kickstarter. I did mention it on the Babylon Bee podcast. I want you to know that.
Oh, thank you.
And I do.
Thank you. We hit 20,000.
And you guys, I got your package. It's insane because I supported your last one. And it's the craziest package I've ever gotten in a campaign. I'm not even advertising right now. It's this, the whole presentation. The box is amazing. The amount of stuff. I'm like, how much did I spend? Like, no way I could have spent the amount of money that's worth all this stuff.
I wanted people to feel my love.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing package. If you have any interest in Earthworm Jim, also, it's all ages, right? I mean, it's pretty clean stuff. So your kids will love it. It's, full of great art and it's hilarious. So telling people get this thing. My endorsement, my full endorsement.
Thank you. See that? That's decisive.
Yeah. See?
So decisive. You're pushing them.
Okay, so book recommendation was
so emojis. So he said, don't talk about us selling our projects.
He said,
which I'm fine with.
Book recommendations, but not things we've read, not things we're selling.
I just want him to notice that we have spared him from Quip advertisements and all these other.
We don't
Casper Bed
ads.
All I ask is like, hey, let us talk about our projects every once in a while. We're not going to dwell on it. It's going to be less than the 2 minutes they pound you with on your Ring.
More than 2 minutes
doorbell.
More than 2 minutes with Ben Shapiro. It's unwatchable.
Yeah. And he's even pretty quick. He talks so fast. He gets through his ad in like seconds. Get this. But first, buy gold. 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 And then he's done. He's on to the next topic. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
about we pick 3 books each?
Okay. 3 books.
Which will not be... I'm always bad at picking the best or the top. I just don't rank things in my head like that. I did just read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh, that's one of my favorite all time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Great.
Can we talk about that book?
Yeah, there's a lot to
Where
process.
do you rank it?
That was great. It was like...
It's the most insane moral book you'll ever read.
Yeah, it was just fascinating to hear his... the first part of the book's the best part because when it gets really into the psychology, I got a little lost sometimes. But
that's also a fascinating part. So this is Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who is a shrink, and he goes through all of his time in Auschwitz and then coming out and trying to live a life. And it is fascinating. Viktor Frankl. And
he really tried to... he basically determined when he went in that he was going to use this as a learning. He really wanted to study the effects of being in these miserable conditions on people psychologically. What makes some people do better than other people or survive better more?
That was what made him actually write the book. Was he said he was finding Jews and some Christians who survived the Holocaust, but then when they're free and back home, took their own life. They died.
Yeah, and I already said
they killed themselves.
There were Nazi guards who were kind, and there were
that's my favorite
other
part
Jews
too,
who were horrible people. He said, and he's the guy who famously said the quote that Dennis Prager always says that there are 2 races: the decent and the indecent. Not Jew and German.
Also true. Yeah. Also true, because he said they found guards that were helping prisoners and were just in whatever way they could. They were helping prisoners to a point that when the Americans like busted open the Nazi prison camp and all the German guards knew to go and hide in the woods, they were running off and hiding in the woods. And there were some Jewish captives that were pointing out the German guards. They were defending them and trying not to get them killed because they were the good ones. And then he talks about fellow Holocaust, fellow Jews that are inside the concentration camps that are cutting side deals and selling out friends and acting so despicable that he was saying those were the worst people in the world, worse than Nazi guards.
Yeah, and he said that he had this book that he had written and it had gotten destroyed when he got taken. And it created this thing that he knew he had to write this book. And that became his thing he had to do when he got out. And he said he noticed that was a thing that a lot of people that seemed to have more of a will to survive in the camps, that didn't just kind of give up and die or kill themselves or become evil.
Yeah.
They had a reason to live. And he talks a lot about what's the meaning. You know, people always ask, what's the meaning of life? And it does seem like we think that we have these two options. Like either there's the meaning of life or you create your own meaning. And it never really dawned on me that he's saying that we each have our own meaning, but it's not a thing we made up.
Yeah.
That if a person believes that they have a meaning that was been given to them, like God made you with a purpose, like there's a meaning behind your individual existence. It's a very powerful thing.
Wasn't he also an atheist? Was he? I seem to.
Yeah, because he doesn't talk. He doesn't bring God into it much.
He doesn't. That's what fascinates me. Also,
so I don't know, but I don't know if he's a religious Jew.
He's not a religious. He was a Jew. Well, I mean, they were even the religious Jews. You know, some of them are just phoning it in or whatever. But he's as Jewish as an atheist Jew can be, which is not very religious, I guess. But for some reason, I thought he was an atheist. And that's what fascinated me even more is he's asking from an atheist perspective, do we just make up our own meaning and is life arbitrary? And he's on an actual quest. That's why it's called Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah. Now I'm curious.
Is he's going, why? And so he found that the captives that the ones that had a family or something to live or die for, and the ones who had a sense of humor. That was another thing that really got to me. The ones that had a sense of humor also did well in surviving. It's just that's one of the most fascinating books.
Yeah,
so there's a good recommendation.
Sure.
Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. It will change you. It changed me. Like after I put that book down, I had a very long days of sober reflection on it, just and not sure where I land. That's another thing is he doesn't come up with easy answers. He's just kind of laying it out. And I love that book. Another famous quote is something like they can take away your freedom kind of thing, but the one freedom they can't take away is your response. Like they can do all these things to you, but you don't have to respond with evil.
Yeah.
You don't have to respond with death. You don't have to whatever. And he also makes an interesting point that the people who died, that basically anyone in Auschwitz could choose to die at any moment. That was how easy death was. Basically, he would sit there and watch someone like struggle to survive because they were starving to death or they were sick or whatever. And he would watch them either power through it or just choose to die, and they would die on the spot. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
So that's a hairy ass book.
I will say I had always avoided it because I thought it was going to be really thick and hard to read, and actually it's not that long. And it's broken into, I think, 2 parts or the 3. Yeah. But the first part is just his account of being there. He just talks about the experience of being there, and that's very easy reading. I mean, it's not that it's it's full of heavy, good stuff, but I mean, it's like
but it's rip-roaring that you're hanging on every page.
So even if you just read it. Everybody got to read it. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I would put Orthodoxy.
Yeah, I read the book, and then I got...
As my next book, I'd say Orthodoxy for sure.
Yeah, Orthodoxy. That's another one.
Chesterton.
See, those are two of our top all-time correct. Orthodoxy, which I'm going to give a lecture on that on a reading group we're having out here. I think in June. I have to. I'm giving kind of my big soaring unpacking of orthodoxy
Nice.
for a reading group.
That'd be that could be like a series of lectures.
Yeah, it's like, where do you even start? But it's kind of big. I'm trying to go big picture to little, big to little. So I'm excited about that book. Is the most exciting book I've ever read. Every time I read it. And it's like I've never read it before.
Yeah.
You know, every time I read it, it's like the first time. I'm like, you know, it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
That was the same thing with when I read Return of the King. And I go, how did he do this? I get it that he took 30 years on it and he had notes all over the wall. But just the structure of the story is perfect. The the creation of characters and all that stuff is just perfect. And the same thing when I read Orthodoxy, I go, how did he do this? Okay, how? I don't get it. You're from another planet. You're from another dimension. You're weird. It was written 100 years ago. You're weird. And you're just reading it going, true, true, amazing, true.
Who
didn't crib note this thing from someone else?
Who's this? A lot of time in Chesterton, you're constantly going, oh,
no, I'm
who's
sorry.
he talking about?
No, I'm talking about Orthodoxy. Same thing. Orthodoxy, I'm saying, written 100 years ago. I'm just going like, mind-blowing.
But he'll name drop people from his time when you're like, oh, I don't know who that is. And there's no notes to like put it into context. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the only hard part.
And then you also realize that the big thinkers of his time are also largely irrelevant.
Yeah, they're forgotten now.
Today,
The
and
funny thing.
rightly
They were the
so.
contemporary fashionable people. So he's talking about him as if everybody knows. And then now like they've passed away and he's still relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he talks about H.G. Wells. We know him. George Bernard Shaw. We kind of know
those
him.
are the main ones. But he brings a lot
Oscar
of other names
Wilde.
up. Some of them are Googleable.
Yeah, he'll do and locate. Yeah. So read Orthodoxy. So Man's Search for Meaning, Orthodoxy. These are big. These are mind-blowing, life-changing books.
Yeah.
This isn't 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight, you know.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'd pick if I was to pick fiction. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of cliche, but I would say Mere Christianity was a huge book for me. So it's one I've read so many times, you know.
Yeah, God in the Dock.
Yeah. I still consider Orthodoxy far
fiction. I would say
writing.
that Hideous Strength, Hideous Strength by C.S. Lewis, and of course Tolkien is fiction. There's three.
Yeah, Tolkien.
That was easy. These are easy picks too.
What was that? You broke up a bit.
These are easy pick. I'm sorry. These are easy picks.
Yeah, they're the easy picks.
You know, these are end all be all books.
Yeah.
Well, fiction, Moby Dick, you can't get. I don't know if there's been a better book ever written. It doesn't have the meaning, as much meaning as like Lord of the Rings or Lewis's work. But in a way, it's about, it feels more realistic because he's not pumping so much meaning into it. Or I should say, the meaning is there, but it's way more general than specific. It's big picture things about Ahab's anger at things that are out of his control. You could say it was about God, that the white whale represented God, but it's really just an immovable thing that he can't deal with something out of his control. It's driven him mad. And I think it's important that thing was written in the 1850s or whenever it was, 1850s or whatever. I think it was right around then that he was writing it. That is the age of enlightenment. That is the big coming of Darwinism and the 1849ers, the mining and gold and industry, and we've gone all the way to the West. and there's no unexplored world or whatever, and man is really kind of coming into his own. The Enlightenment is fully flowering. And so to me, Ahab is the perfect parallel of man's pride and man's demand to control his life. And he's crazy about this thing that he can't get. The white whale. And I love that the whale is white because it's obvious in public to everyone that it's out there.
Yeah.
Like you can't hide a giant white whale. And he's just like, I got to kill it. He knows it's going to kill him. Probably. He's pretty much knows it's not going to happen. And he carries all of these men to their doom because of it. He needs to use dumb people to run his ship. And he just sees him as kind of grist for the mill. I just think there's powerful stuff in that.
Yeah, I was reading that book, but technically I was audio reading it. I was doing the audiobook.
Yeah. And
then something happened to my my device somewhere along the way. Completely reset, and I lost my place, and I haven't gotten back. So I never did finish it. I got like halfway through, which is a lot of time. Yeah. It's like a long. Whoever read that, they're busy. Who did read it? It was a really good reading of it. It was I remember that. Yeah, I gotta read that again.
Well, I like the book because each chapter is like 3 pages.
Yeah.
It's like I read a chapter a night, and it's like 100 and something chapters. So you just do like one a night, just like a devotional almost before. I did it. This is back when I lived in Colorado. Was the last time I read it was in 2011, I think. And I would just read, I committed to 3 pages a night, and just, it was easy right before bed. And I was fascinated by especially in the early part of the book, that first third, there's so much the sermon and the God talk and, Ishmael. It's more about him on the first third. And then once Ahab shows up, it's about him.
Okay. Next thing. Next up. 3 books. We shared between the two of us. We did 3 books. We actually did 4, I think.
Yeah. 4-ish.
Okay. So he has a message to Ethan. I've enjoyed Bearmageddon news as a former moose fanatic. It's a pleasure to see someone also obsessed with a particular animal. Doug, thanks for pissing off the libs. Owning the libs is different than what you do and is overrated.
That's right.
My inner contrarian thanks you.
Yeah. I'm here to just break furniture. F all of you. If you're they erect this, it's like a cheap IKEA furniture, and they say this is the greatest handcrafted thing ever made. And I go in with my sledgehammer, and you just tap an IKEA particle board furniture, and it falls apart. And I just go in, I'm just tapping furniture with my little hammer. Because it's too hard to convince IKEA to make great carved shelving and pianos and fireplace overlays and really get into the craft work of hand turning a bowl of nice tempered wood. No.
Where's this going?
No. No, it's about pissing off the libs instead of, don't own them, piss them off. Break the furniture.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also easier to do because, it doesn't require as much work just to break things.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not going to appreciate it. If you own them, they're not going to admire your craft work. That's true.
It's true pearls before swine. Yeah. If they had an idea rolling around in their head, or if they had a conscience, they wouldn't be liberals in the first place. So just don't bother.
Do you hear that siren? Okay.
No.
Okay, so here comes the criticism. Your show has, for the most part, gone downhill. The thing you must remember is what the mullet concept is. Not talking.
Tell us what the concept is of our own show, because I I have no idea.
Not talking about Star Wars is a mullet activity.
Not.
Oh, I forgot. He said, "Mike, come back." That was his words to Mike.
Yeah, we're in agreement with you that the show has gone downhill.
It's better with Mike. We agree,
and that we want Mike back. But it's the not talking about Star Wars being a mullet activity than asking for the proper use of emojis. That's
the best part of this.
The kind of
so talking about emojis would be okay, but not Star Wars.
Yeah, I slipped on that banana peel. I just went, wait a minute, wait, what? So let's go into what was the proper use of emojis?
Yeah.
So don't talk about Star Wars, but let's do a doctoral dissertation on the proper use of emojis.
Okay. Do you think that there's the emoji where he looks rather perturbed and a little tear is falling out somewhere on his face, but I can't tell where it's coming from?
Yeah, I get that one a lot. All these emojis.
That one doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like something that originated in like Japanese anime or something, like a weird tear coming out of some part of their head.
Yeah, like the anime when they have the snot bubble coming out of the nose when they're sleeping. I'm just like, oh, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I usually use it if my wife says, like, she texts me from work and she's like, man, work is rough, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what to say, so I'll just like send her this little like emoji that looks like it's exhausted. Like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, my wife sends me the emoji of the he's making a little ooh mouth and it has a little heart next to it, like he's sending a kiss.
Yeah, we've sent a lot of those.
Yeah, and it bugs me. Here's my confession: I don't know how to make an emoji, so I've never sent one.
They're right. You don't have to make them anymore. It's like they're right there.
I don't even know how to click that thing.
There's just
whatever
a face.
it is.
You tap on it, and then there's a whole bunch of them. You know what makes me mad is that they got rid of the gun emoji.
Oh, they did?
They made a little squirt gun instead.
See,
it's like, come on.
See, they took away our
emoji
bring back
gun.
The Constitution.
That's a good article idea, actually, man.
Ethan will use the aborted fetus emoji all day, but boy, they take away his gun one, and it's stop the presses. Where's America? Where's the Constitution? God ordained. You know what I did figure out is I have a little iPhone, so they have the animating head that tracks your face. I know how to push that button.
They made that to where it's push. Right there.
Yeah. So I use that one a lot where I'll pick the giraffe and I just record my voice going and then I send that.
Okay.
That's all I know how to do. Because it's always
pretty
me
good.
doing some really bad scream or shout with one of those animal heads, usually the giraffe.
Yeah.
Because it looks so stupid. And I send that.
Okay. Well, that was pretty good dissertation on emojis. We're going pretty long here, so.
Oh, good. Then we should cut it off. Are we done?
Should I finish his email?
Sure. We'll do a rapid.
Please
round.
bring Mike back.
Or we could do another episode. Do you want to do another episode?
My family may interrupt me pretty soon. Let me finish his email out.
Okay,
I'll just finish it out.
Okay.
Please bring Mike back. He seemed good at helping the show be, if not on topic, intentional and interesting. Ethan and
okay, that's a fact.
That's true.
This is not on topic, intentional, or interesting. Without him, we agree.
Ethan and Doug,
we're at the bottom here. This is the bottom of the trench on Audio Mullet. We're down in the basement. I don't even know why you guys are listening right now. There's something wrong with you.
I did assume that like there wouldn't be much demand for us to come back, but when we kind of went out, let the holidays kind of give us a little break. We get a lot. We actually got quite a few tweets and emails like, "Where are you guys?"
Yeah, I see them all the time, and I'm going, you guys are desperate if you want this show without Mike. You're just desperate. They'll take anything, Ethan.
Ethan and Doug, you all are necessary for the show, but some of your episodes seem a bit lacking in mullet. Sometimes this is not Mike's fault, and sometimes he could have made it better. I'm sure none of that made sense. Also, make more episodes. More episodes would bring the show from 0 stars to 4, because this is during our little hiatus. I appreciate seeing artistic people who aren't a bunch of lefties discussing all manner of things, except for apparently Star Wars, but emojis are okay. God bless and Happy New Year.
Oh, wow. How nice. That was a good one. We appreciate your input.
Honesty
We're not going to give you any. Yeah. But you really lost me on the emoji thing.
That was
yeah.
Interesting. Maybe he's hoping that we would take the side that, like, if you are a true mullet person, you will never touch the filthy emoji.
Yeah, that's me. I am naturally mullety on that in that I can't even navigate. I wouldn't know how to call up that
I used to be, but then the Babylon Bee guys, they use emojis like crazy. But they're almost...
Yeah, but they're like real mean. They're real mean-spirited and funny, right?
Well, it's almost like they're mocking the usage of them. Like but they just to each other, like in our private messages the way that we communicate.
Yeah.
So I became a lot more loose with it. I was like, why am I so uptight about this? There's something funny about it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the poo emoji was always funny.
I never used that one.
The little smiley poo.
Yeah, that's weird how that became so popular. That's like stuffed
animals. Dude, I go to
everywhere.
Target and there's a smiley poo pillow for sale.
Everywhere.
They're selling human shit as a tchotchke at Target. At like mainstream Target, they're selling a shit pillow in honorary of human fecus. Is fecus a word?
Species.
I just made it up.
I go to like girly stores, you know, with everything sparkling and there's little pink things everywhere, and they have this whole area of plush poos that are just glittery and pink and stuff, but it's just poop.
Sparkle plush rainbow poo.
Unicorn poop or something.
Rainbow poo. Boy, there's redundancy. There. This has been Audio Mullet.
Audio Mullet. A mullet of audio smashing you in the face. Audio Mullet. Short in front, long in back. It's a fact. It's the Audio Mullet.
Bye.
If you put that goodbye on there, you're not an entertainer.
Yeah, I know.
Now you got to put that on there and then do audio.
It'll be after. It'll be the bonus audio.